Hello everyone and welcome back to Mass Effect 4 Wishlist. This week we're going to be doing a multiplayer focused episode. So today we're going to be covering, once again, 3 things. Versus multiplayer, new multiplayer co-op modes, and a co-op campaign. The multiplayer is one thing that BioWare are probably going to be keeping for the next Mass Effect game, considering they've had it in Mass Effect 3 with huge success. It's the next Dragon Age game, so I think it's a high possibility that multiplayer is going to be in there in some capacity, but we don't know in what capacity it's going to be in. So today we're going to be covering what I think they should have in the new multiplayer modes. So to start us off, we'll first of all talk about the Versus multiplayer and what it can do to spice up the multiplayer that BioWare have been creating. One thing I'm going to say right off the bat is I know that BioWare has stated that they really only want to be making cooperative experience in their multiplayer, but I feel that possibly if they add this Versus mode, it would actually expand on how much fun you could have with the multiplayer. Allowing people to have Versus modes will actually bring out a new competitive side to the game, and being able to play like Capture the Flag, Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, all these typical Versus game modes, and obviously they can get creative and try and think of Mass Effect orientated ones. So again, I think this will really help increase the longevity of the game's lifespan. I believe that if they do add this Versus multiplayer in, they're going to need to do 2 separate multiplayers, as it were. So you'll have your profile for co-op and profile for Versus, because I feel doing this random chance loot system they've been doing with the crates wouldn't work in a Versus environment, because it will just be a pay to play thing of the game. Keeping the multiplayer Versus and co-op modes separate will actually allow 2 separate markets, one which you can only get items, characters and stuff of XP, and then you have the co-op market which will still allow you to buy the packs, which will actually, I think, avoid this pay to play model. So those are my thoughts on a Versus multiplayer, but now I'm actually going to go through new co-op modes that could be added into the game, which I think could really add to the game as well as the Versus. I believe the new co-op modes are going to be vital for the next Mass Effect, because I feel they're really going to want to innovate on what they have already. So the way they can do this by getting new modes, and off the top of my head I've come up with 4 modes. Raid dungeons, ship missions, base defense and instance missions, all of which are going to get into depth and tell you what I think they're going to be able to do for the game. I'll start with Raid Dungeons. Raid Dungeons is going to basically be what it says on the tin, a raid. You're going to be going on a linear path along until you reach a final boss, which might take 5 minutes to take down. This boss will probably drop like a premium crate or something along those lines, and each raid will have different difficulties with different rewards and will require different levels really. So that's going to be one mode. Second mode I'm going to talk about is ship missions. So coming off what I was talking about the other week about ship combat, there might be a co-op mode which will involve ship combat. I feel that maybe a Versus mode in this is a little bit too soon until they've got the mechanics sorted. Whereas in co-op, it doesn't matter if things bug out, because you're mainly there just to have fun. Whereas with Versus, it's a little bit more competitive. So this can be a case of just like a space battle, when you and your friends are going to go around and basically kill all the enemies, or maybe it's a mission that you have to do. Who knows? But that is, I think, having ship combat win co-op thing at the moment would be a really good idea. So next one is going to be base defense. So next, base defense. This is again what it pretty much says on the tin. You're going to basically have a base which maybe you design, or it's a pre-designed layout. Then you can add turrets, you can add maybe NPCs to help you fight against the enemy onslaught. You can add barricades, maybe you can make additions to the base, maybe one that will give you like increased accuracy, increased damage, more ammo, all this different kind of stuff which you can maybe build, which you'll get money as you play the game, and then basically upgrade the base. Okay, lastly we're going to be talking about instance missions. This is going to be very similar to the co-op campaign, but instead of it being over a course of X amount of hours, it'll be a 3-hour mission specifically designed for co-op play, and it'll be a bit more like a story-driven raid. And this might even have the ability to have 4 people instead of just the 2 in the co-op campaign. And then maybe users can create these missions, and then or BioWare can do what they did similarly with the like packs like the Rebellion pack and stuff. So it's pretty much an endless opportunity there. What will set this apart to the campaign is that you'll have to make hard decisions within the mission, but instead of it taking a course of a whole campaign, it'll all come to a conclusion at the end of that like 3-hour mission. So all that stuff will actually have a bearing to what you do, or maybe BioWare might take it above and maybe spread the consequences over a few missions. I'm not entirely sure what they could do, but it's all different, and if there's players that can create it, it just makes the whole game a little bit more expansive. So to follow on from this point, I'm now going to go into the co-op campaign. So now we're going to talk about the co-op campaign. This is going to be pretty self-explanatory. I just really want to have 2 people playing Mass Effect together. I think that would be absolutely amazing. Having the ability to play through the story of a friend just enhances the whole experience. And I think it should do something similar to what Divinity Original Sin did, where your choices in the game is actually going to like shape your characters. But the problem with this is that it's going to require 2 people at all times, which some people may not like. They may really want to focus just on a single player experience, so it all comes down to personal preference. But I've rambled on long enough, guys. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Mass Effect 4 Wishlist. Please tune in for the next one, and please like and subscribe if you can. And if you have any ideas yourself, please put them in the comment section below. Thank you guys, and see you later.